You always hear the same causes in crash reports: speeding, alcohol, reckless driving. But the real story is rarely that simple. There are hidden killers out there, stuff that doesn't make it into police paperwork, but wrecks bikes just the same. These aren't mechanical failures or lightning strikes. These are invisible mistakes, mental lapses, bad habits, small oversights that don't look fatal until they are. Worst part, most riders who crash from these never see it coming. They think they're riding safe, riding smart, doing everything right. Until a cold tire, a lazy glance, or a familiar road turns into an ambulance ride. These are the kind of mistakes that never get blamed directly, but they cause crashes every single day. If you ride, you need to know them. Not just to be safe, but to stay alive long enough to enjoy the ride. Let's break them down. It's number 1. Riding with cold tires in the first 10 minutes. You roll out of the driveway feeling great. The sun's out, the road's dry, traffic's light. But you're forgetting one thing. Your tires are still cold, and cold tires don't grip. They don't warm up instantly just because you're moving. It can take 10 to 15 minutes of steady riding before they're fully up to temperature, especially in cool weather. The danger? You take a corner like you normally do, lean in a bit too confidently, and the rear slides out with zero warning. You weren't speeding, you weren't doing anything dramatic, but the crash report will still say loss of control. This happens a lot more than people admit. Sport tires and performance rubber especially need heat to work properly. Cold rubber feels like riding on plastic. You might be able to stop, but leaning into turns with cold tires is playing Russian roulette with traction. Most riders don't crash in the rain or on twisty roads. They crash in their own neighborhood just minutes into the ride because the tires were cold and their confidence was hot. So warm them up gently. Straight line cruising, easy throttle, no hero lean angles. You're not racing anybody. Give it 10 minutes. Then you can start dancing. It's number 2. Failing to scan the surface, not just the road. You're watching traffic, you're reading the cars, you're checking intersections. Great. But are you actually scanning the surface of the road? Because that's where the real danger lives. The crash report might say lost control in turn or overcorrected. But what it won't say is you hit a patch of gravel the size of a sandwich, or a tar snake that liquefied in the sun, or invisible film of oil just after the rain started. These things don't show up in the police report, but they absolutely show up in the hospital bill. Most riders are trained to read traffic threats, but not terrain threats. That's the blind spot. A pothole mid-corner, a shiny patch at a stoplight, off-camber dips that look flat but throw your line off. That stuff is rarely mentioned, but it causes crashes every single day. Your brain has to run 2 channels at once: macro, traffic flow intersections, and micro, surface, texture, angle. Especially at low speed, sharp corners, or when the road looks too perfect to trust. Train yourself to scan both. Look beyond the cars, read the pavement, because a tiny patch of the wrong texture is all it takes to ruin the rest of your ride. It's number 3. Trusting your mirrors instead of turning your head. You checked. You think you checked. You glanced at the mirror, saw nothing, and merged. Then boom, there's a car in your blind spot, and you're picking yourself and your bike up off the asphalt, wondering what just happened. Crash report says lane change error. What it doesn't say is too lazy to turn head. Mirrors aren't magic. They miss a lot, especially with bulky gear, wide panniers, or slight helmet tilt throwing off your field of view. You can convince yourself you're safe because the mirror said so, but mirrors only show what was there a second ago, not what's there right now. Worst part, this mistake usually doesn't come from new riders. It comes from comfortable riders, people who have done the same commute for months, who start trusting their routines more than their instincts. A proper shoulder check takes 1 second, less than that. Just a quick glance. But that second might be the difference between a clean lane change and a side swipe that snaps your leg. So don't be the rider who almost always checks. That's not good enough. Make it a rule. No turn, no merge, no swerve without a full, conscious, physical look over the shoulder, because your mirror isn't going to court with you. Number 4. Underestimating crosswinds and wind gusts. There's no checkbox on a crash form for Mother Nature slapped me sideways. But that's exactly what happens when a crosswind hits you at 120 kilometers an hour on a bridge. It's one of the most underrated dangers of real-world riding, especially for light bikes, riders with big panniers, or anyone caught on an exposed stretch of highway. The gust doesn't ask if you're ready, it just hits. And if your body position or grip is off by even a little, it can push you a full lane over. Crosswinds aren't just annoying, they cause target fixation, overcorrection, and panic. Riders instinctively lean harder, stiffen up, or try to fight the bike instead of adjusting their line smoothly. And in a group ride, it gets worse. One gust can knock a whole formation out of sync. The crash report won't say wind gust, it'll say loss of control. But that doesn't tell the real story. Experienced riders learn to spot the signs. Open fields, tunnels, passing trucks, or coastal bridges where gusts live like trolls under the asphalt. You shift your weight, lean into it slightly, and grip the tank, not the bars. And most of all, you stay loose. Because when the air decides to punch you, it won't warn you, but can be ready. Number 5. Target fixation in panic moments. It happens in less than a second. A car starts inching out of a side street. You see it, your brain screams, "Oh shit!" Before you can process anything else, your eyes lock onto it. This is target fixation, and it's a silent killer. When panic hits, your vision narrows. You stop scanning for exits. You stop looking for the gap. You focus on the one thing you don't want to hit, and you go straight into it. Not because you aimed, but because you looked. Crash investigators chalk this up to failure to yield or couldn't avoid vehicle. But they're not inside your head. They didn't see the tunnel vision. They don't list panic-induced visual lock as the real cause. Target fixation is primal. It's fight or flight wiring. But on a motorcycle, the trick is to override it. That's why seasoned riders drill it out with parking lot practice and corner escape exercises. You learn to shift your gaze, not just your bike. Because where you look is where you go. And if you stare at the problem instead of the solution, you become the next crash statistic that no one properly understands. Number 6. Riding beyond your line of sight. Blind corners don't care how confident you are. You come in hot, feeling the flow, and boom, there's a stalled truck halfway through the curve, or a fresh gravel spill, or a cow. Doesn't matter. You're already committed. There's no space, no time, no plan B. The crash report just says, failed to negotiate curve. What it doesn't say is, this rider charged into a turn faster than they could safely stop. That's called outriding your sightline, and it's one of the quietest, deadliest mistakes in motorcycling. Even experienced riders fall for it. You get used to empty roads, or you follow a faster buddy, and your brain starts assuming the road is clear just because it was last time. The truth is brutal. If you can't see the exit of the curve, you can't trust it. You should be able to stop within the distance you can see, every single time. This isn't about speed, it's about margin. It's about giving yourself the space to react when the unexpected shows up. Because the unexpected will show up. And when it does, no amount of lean angle or wishful thinking is going to save you if you were riding into the unknown like nothing could go wrong. Number 7. Not practicing emergency braking at speed. You nailed the license test. Great. But have you ever slammed on the brakes at 80 miles an hour full load with a passenger? Most riders haven't. And when the moment comes, when a car slams the brakes in front of you or a deer jumps out of the ditch, you panic. You grab the brakes too hard, lock the rear, forget the front, or freeze entirely. Crash report reads rear-end collision. But what really happened? You didn't know how to stop. Emergency braking isn't just a skill, it's muscle memory. You have to practice it regularly, from real speeds with real force. so that when your brain checks out for half a second, your hands know exactly what to do. ABS helps, sure, but if you're relying on electronics instead of proper technique, you're gambling. ABS can't fix bad posture, bad reaction time, or the fact that you're braking like it's still raining. You should know how your bike behaves under full brake load, how your front dives, how much grip your tires hold, how fast your rear gets light. You should know this before the emergency, not during it. Because when things go wrong, the only thing between you and impact is how fast you can slow down. And you don't want that to be the first time you ever tried. Number 8. Overloading your bike or mounting luggage wrong. Your bike isn't a mule. It doesn't care how many bungee cords you've used or how good that new luggage system looked on Instagram. Physics doesn't care either. An overloaded bike changes everything: braking distance, cornering behavior, wind sensitivity. And when you mount your tail bag too far back or hang soft panniers unevenly, you're asking for instability. The front wheel gets light, the suspension sags weird, and your center of gravity goes from controlled machine to wobbling disaster. And guess what? When you crash, nobody blames the gear. The report just says, lost control. But the truth is, your 30 pounds of unbalanced junk made your bike unpredictable. Long trips are the worst for this. You keep adding just-in-case items. Backup shoes, tools, spare helmet visor. Suddenly your backpack's full, your tailbag's bulging, and your bike handles like a waterbed on stilts. Even worse, loose straps and unsecured gear can move. That's a mid-corner death sentence. Learn how to pack properly. Put weight low and centered. Compress bags tight. Balance both sides. If it feels sketchy at 30 miles an hour, it'll feel terrifying at 80. A loaded bike doesn't have to be dangerous, but it can be if you treat packing like Tetris instead of survival prep. Number 9. Using worn tires with just a bit of life left. They've still got tread, right? That's what most riders tell themselves. The grooves are visible, the wear bars aren't quite flush, so they must be fine until they're not. Here's the truth. It's not just about tread depth. It's about rubber quality. Tires age regardless of mileage. That rear tire might have 2 millimeters left, but if it's 3 years old, hardened by heat cycles and UV exposure, it's not gripping like it used to. Not even close. And you won't know until it's too late. You'll feel it the moment your back wheel steps out mid-corner or doesn't bite under braking. You'll wonder what just happened. And the crash report, it'll say loss of traction or excessive speed. But no one will check the sidewall for a date code or inspect the rubber compound for brittleness. Even worse, many riders push their tires just a little longer to finish the trip. One more weekend, one more ride. That's when it gets you. If your tires are squared off, cracked, or over 5 years old, even if the tread looks okay, they're not trustworthy. Don't gamble your spine on 500 extra miles. Replace them before they bite back. It's one of the easiest decisions that can save your life. Number 10. Assuming visibility equals safety. You're lit up like a Christmas tree. High-vis jacket, LED headlights, even reflective tape on your helmet. You look safe. You feel safe. But here's a cold truth. Drivers don't hit what they can't see. They hit what they don't register. Being visible doesn't mean you're being noticed. Most drivers aren't scanning for motorcycles. They're scanning for cars, trucks, and whatever's directly threatening their own flow. You could be glowing like a radioactive bug, and they'd still pull out in front of you because their brain didn't log you as a hazard. So what happens next? You get cut off, T-boned, or sideswiped. Crash report says motorcyclist struck while proceeding legally. But the real cause? The rider trusted that being visible was enough. It isn't. You still need to ride like you're invisible. Anticipate stupidity. Cover your brakes. Never assume someone sees you. Assume they won't until proven otherwise. Use movement and lane positioning to stand out. Flash your high beams, tap your horn, make eye contact. High-vis gear helps, sure, but it's not a shield. It's a tool. And tools only work when you use them with awareness, not instead of it. Visibility's a bonus, not a replacement for active survival skills. Never confuse the two. Number 11. Losing focus after hours of riding. You didn't fall asleep. You didn't close your eyes. But something inside did shut off. After hours on the road, your brain gets quiet. Too quiet. You start missing details. A merging car, a pothole, a speed change. You're still riding, but you're not really there. And that's exactly when things go sideways. The crash report says rider failed to yield or inattentive riding. But what it doesn't say is that you were on hour 6 of a ride, dehydrated, underfueled, and maybe even bored. You didn't see the threat because you stopped processing the ride. Fatigue isn't just about falling asleep. It's about mental sharpening. And that mental sharpness fades slowly until it's gone, and you don't notice until after the sirens. You need breaks, not just gas stops, but actual moments to sit down, drink water, stretch, breathe, and reset. Long-distance riders plan these breaks like fuel stops. Smart ones even use caffeine strategically, not constantly. If you find yourself zoning out, daydreaming, or wondering how you passed the last 10 miles, stop. You're already in the danger zone. Crashes don't always come from recklessness. Sometimes they come from repetition, and if your brain's on autopilot, your reaction time might as well be 0. That's not a risk worth coasting into. Number 12. Complacency on familiar roads. You know this road. You've ridden it 100 times. Every turn, every bump, every intersection. It's practically muscle memory by now. And that is exactly the problem. The more familiar a road becomes, the less attention you give it. You skip mirror checks. You blow through that stop sign a little faster. You take that corner wide without a second thought. You trust the past more than the present. And when something's changed, it hits you before your brain even has a chance to react. Crash report says inattention or failure to avoid hazard. But the real cause? Overconfidence. Familiarity breeds laziness, and laziness gets people hurt. It's not the road that's changed. It's that you stopped treating it with the respect it deserves. You stopped scanning. You assumed nothing would be different. But today there's gravel, or a kid on a scooter, or a car parked just a little too far into the lane. And now you're flying through the air thinking, what the hell? Every road deserves your full attention, especially the ones you think you've mastered. Because the minute you start riding on autopilot, the bike isn't the only thing coasting. Your awareness is too. And that's when the ground comes fast. No one ever thinks they're the one making dumb mistakes. Until the crash. The truth is, most fatal accidents don't come from reckless riding or bad weather. They come from invisible habits. Things you thought you were doing right, or didn't even realize you were doing wrong. So don't wait to learn the hard way. Go practice emergency braking. Check your tires. Really check them. Scan for more than traffic. Treat every ride like it's trying to kill you, because some days it is. And if this helped you rethink a few habits, you already know what to do. Like the video, hit subscribe, and share it with somebody who needs a reality check. Ride smarter, stay alive. See you in the next one.